Really good. Oh, goodness. I got to think about where I want to start. Yes, let's go ahead and I have lots of slides today because these things just kept coming to me, and I couldn't narrow them down to 4. So, this first one, you recognize the guy on the right? Looks like him, doesn't it? Okay, I want to tell you a story here. While Rada Rao, she's on the left, was performing on a Boston street corner, singing John Legend's song, All of Me, she noticed a man standing nearby wearing a mask, listening to her rendition of the song. And Rada thought, gee, that guy looks like John Legend. And it was when the man removed his mask, applauded, and dropped a tip in her basket, she realized it wasn't a look-alike, it truly was John Legend. She was shocked, but I just kept singing, she said. And when I finished, he gave me a big hug. We are called to radiate divine presence to each other and to ourselves. And I just shared this because it came to me, and I thought about the title of today's service, this talk, is I Have a New Life. Now, you don't think Rada started to have a new life after that experience of John Legend coming up and giving her a tip? My goodness. Let's go to that next one, please. Don't try to make your old life better. And feel free to take some pictures of these slides if you want. Allow your new life to come in. It is what you truly deserve. And I wish if I could have, I would have underlined and circled allow. Allow your new life to come in. It is truly what you deserve. I'm going to share a Bible story with you. And it's from the book of Acts, which was literally written by Luke, who was one of the 4 writers of the Gospels. And Luke, at Christmas time, I always share this about Luke, because he's the one we draw from the Christmas story the most. And why is that? Because Luke was a physician. He was a humanitarian. He was a non-Jew. And he wrote to audiences in stories that they could understand at this time. And he would always bring in a lot of nature because he was a humanitarian. So has anyone heard of the story of the road to Damascus? Some of you may be familiar with that. Some of you may not. So it is where Saul eventually changed his name to Paul in this story. So I'm going to just go into this, but it literally is in the book of Acts, and I started reading, and I'm like, I gotta just give a summary of this. So, Saul, at that time was known as Saul, and he was on a mission to imprison anybody that was following Jesus. And he did a really good job at it. And he was determined to either punish them, he was cruel to them, he beat them, and then his goal was to get them put in prison. And he, again, was very good at it, and then he decided he was going to go to Damascus. But he needed a letter from the high priest would give him full authority in Damascus to go and imprison any followers of Jesus. So he gets his letter, and off down the road he goes to Damascus. Well, as he's traveling down the road, appears this big, bright light, which literally blinds him, and he hears a voice in this light, and it's telling him of the evil of his ways, and that he needs to be forgiven and go to the light, so to speak, and be true to God's words, be true to Jesus' teachings. Well, he is taken back by this and the fellow travelers take him to a room, and there he stays for 3 days blind until this guy named, I'm going to mispronounce it again, Ananias, something like that. Close enough. That's not the important part. His friend comes in, puts his hands on his eyes, and he can see. Now, just going to stop here with this story, because if you remember when Jesus was called because his friend Lazarus was ill, and Jesus said, basically, I'll get to him. I'm a little busy right now, but I will get to him. Well, he gets to him 3 days later, and Lazarus has died, right? See, there's something in the Bible that there's this 3-day thing, okay? It took 3 days in order for, just hold that thought. Just hold that thought, because I want to get a little deeper with this. Okay, so Saul has this conversion when he has this light and this voice, and now his eyes are healed. He has a conversion, and he gives himself a new name. He now is going to be called Paul. Okay? He ends up in Damascus doing totally the opposite of what he went there to do, and now he is converting people to Christianity. And that's enough of the story for now. What I want you to do is look at this story as to what does this have to do with you? What does it have to do with you in your life right now? So let's think about any of us who have been Saul at times in our lives, who have made judgments at people. Come on, get a little honest with yourself. Right. It's so easy, isn't it? When we've made judgments, we've criticized, they're wrong, I'm right, my belief is right, yours is wrong. And how often we do that, even in our own families. We judge our own children, our grandchildren, and yes, I do it too, and I would want to say, but I have a right to feel that way because I'm the grandma, right? Grandmas are supposed to have some kind of inalienable right to tell our children how to raise them. I'm looking around at all of you mothers and grandmothers out there, and grandpas and fathers. Yes, but it's true. We all do this. This story is about us, and it's about every moment of every day, every minute of every day. We have an opportunity to have a conversion. We have an opportunity to have a new life. That's what Paul was experiencing. Saul went from Paul because he had a big conversion and claimed a new life. How can we do that just momentarily in the course of a day? Claim a new life just for that moment. When you catch yourself wanting to cuss somebody out on the road, and to just reel it back in and have a conversion moment. It can be done, can't it? Yes, it can, but it takes work. It takes being conscious, and that's what unity is so about, is about raising our consciousness so that we become more and more aware of being the best versions of ourselves instead of mediocre. I love your song because that's what Liza was doing. She was not going to settle to just be mediocre. She was out to be herself and a light. Light her candle. I just love it. Love it. So, where is that power? We talk about the power of Christ. That's a lot in the Bible. Where is that power? In unity, we believe that power is where? Within. Because the Christ is within us. And we have that attainable. You know, as I was thinking about this story, I don't know why, but sometimes songs just come to me. Many of you know I'm just a plethora of music in my head sometimes. And it was birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun in the sky, you know how I feel. And then it goes, it's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. for me. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, if I could have played it for you, I would have. Oh, gosh. Let's go to that next slide, please. Oh, I love this picture. When you were in the labyrinth, in the meditation, and when you are on the road to Damascus, which you are every single moment of every day, there is always an open window. Always. You just need to go towards it. That's the key. Because at the moment you're dealing with something, you're dealing with struggle, you're dealing with, oh my God, I can't take any more of this. You've got to turn your attention to the open window. It's always there. But when we're in the midst of that, it's hard to see it, isn't it? It's like, oh, woe is me. I can't take any more. How much more of this can I do? Call somebody who will remind you that there's an open window. Don't call the people who believe in closed windows. We tend to do that, don't we? But I'm telling you, I say this a lot. Misery, that saying, misery loves company. We tend to go and hang out in the people with misery. And what does that do for you? More misery, that's right. You've got to stay connected. That's why spiritual community is so important, because they are the people who will lift you up and remind you of who you truly are. So it is important to have community, and it is important to have spiritual community. I like this next slide because you don't hear this. You hear this a lot in mainstream Christianity, right? The new life, right? The life is new, the life in Christ. And more of your fundamental traditional churches would say that literally, and that's perfect. But I also, in Unity, we say take that saying a little bit deeper. The new life in Christ is in you. If that Christ in you is your hope of glory, then that new life is in you. It's not out there something for you to attain. It is something for you to wake up to, own, and open the window and step into it. Every minute. Every minute. I'm not trying to get you to have a whole new conversion here today. I'm just trying to have you have a little conversion in whatever's going to be hitting you today. Because things will hit us. I often say, as soon as I get back in my office and I turn my airplane mode back off, all of a sudden, things are going to hit. It's that quick, isn't it? That stuff hits us. Oh, I tell you, I made a movie one time, and I can't find it. I made it with my cell phone, a video. I was at the Cincinnati airport, and I was waiting, and I was in the humongous maze at that time, right? And I was just watching, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I am going to pick up my phone and take a video of this. Let's go to, this is not the video, but have you seen it? Have you experienced this? We were up at Miami University Thursday night. We had to pick up something in Oxford, and college town, right? Holy moly. You just better go like 2 miles an hour, because there's crosswalks, but they're crossing like this. They don't even know that there are cars coming either way. And they're everywhere. They're everywhere. It's like, oh my gosh, this is freaking me out, right? And it was dark. And I'm like, this makes me nervous. But this tends to be our world right now, isn't it? Oh, my goodness. Is this your new life? Or could it possibly be your old life? That's up to you. I was talking to Martha Creek this week, and she's my spiritual counselor mentor, and she said, what if you challenged people to just turn this off, cover it up, and for 30 minutes every day? Do you think you could do it? I love it. Even our young people are shaking their head, yes. Yes. 30 minutes. It's wonderful. People said to me the other day, well, you're a minister. Don't you have your phone by your bedside? And I'm like, no. I do not work for the EMS. I'm not on call 24 hours, 7 days a week. No. I put it in the kitchen on the charger as far away from my bed as I can. I'll get to you at 7 o'clock in the morning. But until then, I'm going to try and sleep. I'm just saying this to encourage you all. We did it before cell phones. And the family all made it okay. I didn't need to know everything that was going on with my adult children at 3 o'clock in the morning. No. I remember being stranded because I was in Clifton up at the bars back in those days, right? And parked in the wrong place, and I went to get my car, and there was no car. And it's 2 o'clock in the morning. I am not about to call my parents from a payphone. We survived. We survived. Oh, goodness. Yeah, let's go to the next one. Could this be your new life? People actually sitting on the porch talking. Somebody's standing there leaning against a post thinking. Wow. Wow. What a concept. I'm going to share with you a story about my grandson, who is now 7. He just turned 7 a couple months ago. And last weekend, we were celebrating my birthday, and the kids came and camped at our house. We're so blessed. We have 14 acres of woods. And so they camped there for the weekend, and they came in and out because of sports and everything. Well, they're always, they call it screen time. So their devices, right, they can play their games, and Mia's hooked on YouTube videos and all this stuff, but there's limits. Well, the next thing I know, that Miles, at 7 years old, has got a box of Roblox. Am I saying that right? Roblox? Okay. And we have lots of rocks around our property because we're still under construction on the site work. And Miles is like got all these characters hidden in the rocks. He's got a Jeep that's turned upside down and somebody's ripped in half. That's a boy for you, isn't it? Ripping him in half. Anyway, and then at nighttime, we're sitting around a campfire, and they're playing zombie monsters, and they have to crawl in the dark and try to scare us, and it was amazing. But I got to tell you, here was Miles. He's like, before it got dark, he was doing this Roblox thing, right? And he goes, I don't want my devices anymore, Mama. I got a new life. I got a new life. And then that night at the campfire when they were doing all this, and she said, Miles, do you want your device? You get 20 minutes. He goes, no, I got a new life. I'm like, there's the title to the talk Sunday. I'm like, that's how easy it can be. Sure, I'm sure the next day when he got home, he went back to his devices, but he spent 7 hours and didn't even want it. Didn't even want it. That's possible. It is possible. And I know we're starting to run late, and I want to definitely try to get a video going, but let's go to the next. Yeah. What is the meaning of life? I don't know. The computer's down. I thought about that one this morning. Here's what I do when I wake up and I get my coffee. Alexa, what's the weather today? What the heck? I depend on her to tell me. Who was Luke in the Bible? She'll tell me. What we're losing touch with, oh my goodness, it's just getting absurd. And then I'm shocked when Alexa is blinging and I say, what's your notification? He goes, according to your history order, it's time for you to order bio coffee on Amazon. I'm like, how do you know that? How does she know that? She, I've already named her she, right? Oh gosh. Okay, before we show this video, I have a 4-minute video that I found. And I just want you to open your heart. And I want to say to the Facebook audience that because of copyright, we are not able to show it on the Facebook viewing live, but they have put a screen up for you that shows the link for this video so that you can go to it and watch it on YouTube. So bear with us. We're going to be back with Facebook Live in 4 minutes as hopefully you enjoy this video as much as I did. I know, I had to watch it 3 times before I could make myself not cry. Talk about a road to Damascus. Both of them had a road to Damascus. But that little dog knew the truth. And that little boy needed to learn the truth. And look how quick it changed. He got a new life. I got a new life. You got a new life. If you choose every minute to choose, I can have a new life. Even if it's just for this minute. Don't beat yourself up. This is not about beating yourself up when you go backwards again, because we will. We're human. But catch yourself more and more, and you will have a new life. So with that, I say namaste. That the Christ presence in me truly sees and honors that Christ presence in each and every one of you. Namaste.